Doug Lane, Fastlane Car Care. Forgive me for sounding all nasally. It's allergy season, and I'm pretty much allergic to everything. So, excuse me. I actually was going to tie this video in with the video on the turn signals that I did, but I realized after I thought about it for a little bit, I should just go ahead and make it its own separate video because there's a ton of videos out there on how to do your turn signals, but not very many good videos that show how to remove your mirror cover so you can do your puddle lights. So, I mean, like I said, there's a couple out there, but they're kind of like poor lighting. You can't really see what's going on and stuff like that. So, I figured I would just make it its own separate video, and that way it'll be a little bit easier for you guys out there to see what is actually going on. In the beginning, you're going to see me fiddling around a little bit, and that's, excuse me, that's because, I don't want to break the mirror cover. Like I said in the video, I've not priced these, but usually mirror covers for other cars painted are not cheap. And then obviously, even if you get the ones that aren't painted, then you've got to find somebody to paint them, and then trying to get the color to match. It's just easier to do it right. So I'm only using just a little bit of force. You don't want to use any more than you absolutely have to. So as you'll eventually see me do, just kind of squeeze in that corner. You squeeze those tabs together and it'll come right up, no big deal. So hopefully this helps you out if you decide to do these yourself, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Take it easy. Alright, now we're moving along to the puddle lights. I really wanted to change these because you have this incandescent glow that shines on the floor. I don't like that color, especially when you open the door and you have the courtesy lights or step lights or whatever you want to call them being cool white. Now, at first I thought this would be a really difficult bulb to change because there's no screws underneath here, so it's not as simple as just removing a lens and pulling it out. You actually have to remove this whole cover. Now, what I've done is already wiped it off with a little bit of spray wax and a microfiber so I don't get any scratches. And now would be the time, if you're planning on doing the puddle lights, you should go ahead and get amber LEDs as well for the turns. I did not do that. I honestly forgot all about having the turn signals on the mirror until my LEDs came in the mail. No big deal. So, if you are not comfortable with the possibility of breaking this plastic cover, you don't want to do this. Pay somebody to do it. I don't know how much they are painted, but usually they're not very cheap. Thankfully, this is a pretty easy one to remove. You're just going to start down here in the corner. There. Squeeze these two tabs together and just sort of gently remove. You see, none of the tabs are broke. Everything's in good shape. Set this somewhere safe. Now, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. Take these two out. First, what I want to do is come over here and remove these yellow wires. See how they're sort of on this little tab? You want to remove those. Those are the actual wires for your puddle lights. There we go. Sometimes they can be pretty tough to get a hold of. Now I'll start over here in this corner. And voila. If you can look in there, you can see your bulb in the socket. Take your LED. Honestly, you could run whatever color you want. I'm just going to run white. Now hit the unlock button. It worked. Since these are a little bit longer than factory, you gotta sort of make sure you get them in there, but also know that this socket is a little bit tight. I'm gonna guess they do that for waterproofness, but there we go. That's the automatic relock.
This piece was completely unnecessary to take off. But obviously it kind of popped out. Now on the passenger side, when I did it, it's no big deal. It barely popped out, popped it back in. No big deal. Obviously I have to be cautious of where I'm standing. I've already hit the tripod a couple times. So basically, put it all back together, make sure all your tabs pop in, and that's about all there is to it. Alright, so basically what happened is the long tab for this plastic piece wouldn't go up in there, and that's what prevented this piece from going back on. All I had to do was move the camera out of the way so I could reach up in here and push it while I pushed the whole thing back in. Once I did that, I was able to snap that on no problem. So you can put your wires back in that little holder. I don't really honestly see any reason why you have to do that. I mean, it's not like it's going anywhere, but that's the way they did it from the factory, so that's the way I did it as well. Take your screwdriver back out. Get it snug. No reason to go crazy and over tighten it. So what you want to do before you even put the screws in, once you get this trim piece back in, you need to look underneath and make sure it is flush, make sure that's all where it's supposed to be. Now it basically only goes in one way. So, I mean, as long as you don't break something, then it should just, this is the only way it goes back together. Now if you break a tab somewhere, I don't know. I didn't break any. I don't want to break any. Now it's time for your trim piece here. These little guys go on the top. Pay attention to the tabs here, and then this kind of tucks in the lip. And then it's that simple. Check your alignment just in case, but basically, like the other black piece, it only goes together one way. As you can see, it works.